Hey everyone, this is Pradeep Singh from Certometer. I have something important to talk about. At Certometer, we usually get general queries from many of you youngsters that you wish to make your career in cloud computing but lack a roadmap or direction as to how and where to start, which courses to pursue, which specialization is the most demanded. As a result, you end up learning in bits and pieces from various indistinguishable sources. But, friends, you see, here is the problem. These random choices do not help us in crafting a solid career as we do not master a subject. I'm sure you would agree with me. Just understand this simple thing. You know that the tech industry is changing at a lightning fast pace. On top of that, new tools and innovations are coming up every day. So it's easy to feel lost and confused. The Certometer team literally worked to address this concern so that our learners give a shape to their career planning. So what we found was that the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner Certification exam can be a decent starting point for anyone who is breaking into the cloud industry. Let's look at the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, also known as AWS CCP exam, and its details. But one more thing before that. Certometer courses are top-notch, providing learners with real project-based understanding. We don't just teach theory, we immerse our students in hands-on experiences where they learn to build, troubleshoot, and tackle real-world challenges. This approach not only deepens their understanding but also prepares them with the practical skills needed to become masters in their chosen IT domains. Coming back to AWS CCP, the way we are going to achieve this certification is through lecture content and hands-on labs. As always, we provide you full practice exam simulations along with the courses. Now, we are at the start of the roadmap asking the most important question first. What is the AWS Cloud Practitioner CCP? Well, AWS CCP serves as the entry-level certification that's going to teach you things like the cloud fundamentals. So we are talking about concepts, infrastructure, deployment models, architecture. It's a close look at the AWS core services, which would be like storage, compute, network, databases. And it's also a quick look at the vast amount of other services and functionalities around AWS. So we are talking about identity, security, billing, support, etc. and a lot more stuff. We'll get into that in the course, and we'll even look at the exam guide outline. There are a few ways of describing this certification. I want to point out that AWS Cloud Practitioner is the most common starting point for people breaking into the cloud. So even if you are going to utilize another cloud service providers like Azure or GCP, I'm going to say that you are going to get really good foundations with this CCP certification, even if you are not using the same cloud provider. So who is the certification for? Well, if you are new to the cloud and you are learning the fundamentals, or you are at the executive management or sales level and you need to acquire strategic information about cloud adoption or migration, or you are a senior cloud engineer or solution architect who needs to reset or refresh their knowledge. So AWS is a good place for that. So yeah, this certification is for anyone interested in pursuing a career in cloud computing. So what's the value of this certification? This certification provides the most expansive or broad view possible of cloud architecture. And I would describe this as having a bird's eye view or the 10,000 feet aerial view. So with that in mind, the idea here is to promote big picture, as if we are zooming out and assessing the cloud IT landscape for things like changes, trends, opportunities. And it's important to understand about being strategic about the approach and process for your journey. And that's why Certometer emphasizes on this certification so much for everyone. The CCP certification is not a difficult exam, and it's not going to validate that you can build cloud workloads. So if you're trying to obtain a technical implementation role like cloud developer, cloud engineer, DevOps engineer, then CCP is not going to be enough to attain those technical cloud roles. But yeah, exam covers contents not found in the other certifications. So it is recommended as an essential guide for your cloud career. Do not skip this. Some people like to go straight to the solution architect and then they realize that they didn't set a good foundation or they just have gaps in their knowledge. CCP could really help out in their career, so do not skip this one. I like to make these roadmaps to give you an idea in terms of where you can go after this certification. So here's all the certifications currently that AWS offers. The idea is that we have a lot of different ways to navigate or work through these certifications, and these can generally map to particular roles in the cloud. So very often people go right to the solution architect associate because they are very similar in terms of scope and challenges and difficulty, where the solution architect is a broad certification just like the cloud practitioner, but it's more focused on the technical knowledge. Then after that, people will generally go for developer or the SysOps administrator. In my opinion, I really do like to think that people should study and do all three associates at the same time because really I don't find it makes sense to leave out the SysOps admin or developer's knowledge. It's just the way that AWS has made their certifications this way. But when you go out to the other clouds, say Google, they only have one associate and they call it cloud engineer, and it has everything in it. So I like to feel that you should take all three associate exams before you decide your specialities. Let's talk about the content outline. So there are 4 domains and you have to understand that each domain has its own weightage. This is going to determine how many questions in that domain will show up in your exam. The first one is cloud concept. So that's 24%. So we are looking at between 15 to 16 questions. Domain 2 is about security and compliance. So that's 30%. It's quite high up there. So we have about 19 to 20 questions. For cloud technologies and services, it's 34%. So understanding the offerings of AWS is the most important thing in the exam. It's the highest percentage here, so we are going to definitely get 22 questions. And then we have domain 4, billing, pricing and support, where it's at 12%. So we have 8 questions. So where do you take these exams? Well, you can take it at an in-person test center or online from the convenience of your own home. AWS delivers the exams via Pearson VUE. AWS certification exams can be taken from the comfort of your home or office through online proctoring. I personally like this option as it provides convenience and flexibility for candidates to schedule their exams at a time and location that suits them best. I just want to point out what a proctor exam means. That someone is supervising you while you are taking it, so you're not cheating. Now let's talk about grading. The passing grade here is 700 out of 1000 points. So you need to get 70% to pass. There are total 65 questions and 50 questions are scored and the remaining 15 questions are unscored. There is no penalty for wrong questions, so absolutely always submit an answer and take your best guess. The format of the questions are multiple choice and multiple responses. If you encountered questions that you never studied and that seems really hard, keep your cool and remember that they may be unscored questions. I just really want to emphasize that. In terms of the duration, you get 1.5 hours, so you have about 1.5 minutes per question. Your exam is 90 minutes and your seat time is 120 minutes, which is 2 hours. The certification is valid for 36 months, so that's 3 years before recertification. Now let me pull up the exam guide so we can make sure that we know exactly what's there in the exam that we are getting. I think it's always useful for you to get to know exactly what we are going to get. Go to Cloud Practitioner, and here on the Cloud Practitioner page, if you scroll down, get to know the exam section, and here you'll click on the exam guide and it'll open up in a PDF. And then down below here it says that the exam validates the candidate's ability to complete the following tasks. I would like to highlight a few keywords here for your notice. Explain, understand, describe, identify. So try to understand that this exam, certification exam, is not going to check whether you know how to do cloud. It's more if you understand cloud. And the majority of this certification is, in fact, all of them are multiple choice questions and multiple answers. So they can't really check if you were able to do something on the cloud. So just try to understand the limits of these certifications. And that's where Certometer sets itself apart. We believe in doing beyond just understanding concepts. We want you to master them, ensuring that you not only comprehend the material but also learn to apply these in real-time examinations. Once you've completed the AWS CCP exam, you will be ready to tackle next level of practical courses by Certometer. These courses are designed to push you to the practical levels, forcing you to engage in the doing part of learning. Using our project-focused approach, we make you champions. So, are you ready to take the skills to the next level with Certometer? See you next time.